Welcome along to another on-road podcast video, and today we are reviewing the all-new Bittydesign body shell. These body shells seem to be coming out thick and fast now, don't they? Today it's the Bittydesign. Last time it was the fat bodies, and the time before that it was the Montec M21. I'm going to be mounting this on my X-Ray X21, X-Ray X12 21 car. I've got a couple of body shells to try on the Schumacher Eclipse, so I thought I'd pop this one on the X-Ray to give the X-Ray something to try out. So first thoughts, comes in its usual polythene bag, nice header card, the usual Bittydesign Robox named shell. This is the lightweight version. They do an ultra lightweight version as well. Comes with some really nice stickers. I don't know if we have to, no, don't have to cut those out. They come out pre-cut. And it also comes with some mask for the windows that are pre-cut. You've got one, you can't really see it there, but you've got one for the window and then two for the sides. The shell itself, well, I've got to say this is an extremely good looking shell. I believe that this is perfectly symmetrical. I've had a good measure around the shell itself, and everything seems to be absolutely nailed on both sides, which is, I think, is really good for when it comes to mounting. Let's take the stickers and the card away there and just get you to have a really nice look at this shell. I don't know if many of you've seen that. I put up the picture of the green car that Stefano put up of it painted. I think those lovely body shell, the yellow one that he did with the black, really disguises the shape of the shell, but that green one that he put up I thought really gave you a good idea of how this shell looks and sits. Immediately I notice on the front of the shell, let me just get I never seem to be prepared for these videos. I spend ages setting them up, and then when I come to do the bloody video I don't have anything bloody ready for you. Sorry, I've got me Sharpie. Sorry, just having a little bit of a moment there. So we've got on the front here. Now I'm going to mount this for you. I'm sure you've seen me mount loads of body shells, but I think you can never spend enough time getting these body shells mounted right. In this Bittydesign one, I'm not sure the camera's going to pick it up, but it's actually got 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical lines that give you lines to line up your front axle. What a majestic idea. So as long as your wheels are straight on the front of your body shell and they're centered and the turnbuckles, all you need to do is choose which line you want to line your front axles up to. Absolutely fantastic. That is arguably better than having these lines on the front as a reminder. Incidentally, on that point, the Bitty shell does have, obviously this has got its painted film on it. The Bitty shell does have a line down there, line down there, line down there, which I'm sure that when we come to mount this in a second, we're going to actually be able to use those lines as a bit of a guide to setting the body posts up. It's got this lovely scallop out the front here, really like that. You saw that in the picture, nice black scallops here. And it's got this really big splitter on the front. I'm really impressed by this. This looks absolutely fantastic. The detail, he's done such a great job. Detail on the back here of the fairing, absolutely beautiful. It's got some nice detailing across the back. Got a little bulb back here. I guess you could potentially take a little hole out of that to get some airflow going through. I don't know whether that's legal or not actually, but that's an idea. Obviously got down the sides here. This is a little bit like the fat body. It's got these scallops out down the side. I think at this point, you know, those of you that are running in the On-Road Podcasts LMP race series, this shell, like the fat body shell, is going to be legal. It's not BRCA approved yet. But I sincerely go out to all the people at the BRCA. If you start using the rules to stop body shells like this not hit our tracks, I think you're making a really bad step forwards there. We need this. We need these new shells, these companies that are going out of their way to put a new body shell in place for people to have something else to look at instead of looking at a ream of AMRs, a ream of, well, I think it's almost a bit AMR or a Montec. We need these new shells. So anyway, so that's that. That's pretty much, again, got a nice little grill down the side. It's actually got a lovely scallop out the back here as well. There's a couple of lovely little scallops out the back for a bit of airflow. Got a kick down the side here as well. That's really nice. It's honestly, it's a beautiful body shell. Really, really is. Really looking forward to getting this mounted up and done. I'm going to be doing this all in one go, so you won't have to have a second clip. I'm going to get this sprayed up, and you'll be able to see it sprayed up in this very clip. So that's not my X-ray. That's my E4. Here is my X-ray. So usual things with setting up the putting the body shell on. I've got race tires, or the maximum size race tires that I would run. Servo is, I can center that with my hands. I know by eye that that's going to be pretty spot on, and that's all I need. I've got my Sharpie marker. Obviously I need something to stop the car from rolling backwards, and then what I need is something on the front to just hold the body shell in place. Last week it was a lipo, today it's a stapler. I'm just rolling with the punches here. So let's get those front wheels lined up. Put the body shell on the front. I'm going to push that back. I'm going to keep pushing it back until the lines on the front here meet the axles. Oh, and they absolutely line up perfectly. For all of you guys and girls out there that battle with mounting body shells, this, my friends, is easy. At the back here, normally what I do is I don't have the wheels on, as a few of you will have spotted, but today I'm doing it with the wheels on, because what it will actually help you do is center the rear. Andy Thompson, a friend of mine, he had a bit of an issue getting the rear straight, and I just said that if you pop the rear wheels back on, you'll be good to go. So that's lined up. So I'm just looking from that side, and I'm looking from this side to make sure that the body shell is centered. On the rear here, I can see and feel, when I just touch the sides, I can feel that the rear of the car is centered. Now, what we have on this body shell as well, we've got a line, a bitty line here, and a line here. And I can actually see that this body shell, for the X-ray at least, actually sits on that line. And then the front is going to make sure that the gaps are even both sides. Pretty much spot on. Go back, double check nothing's moved. Beautiful. Just want to make sure the gaps are all good just on the front. Good. Take that away. Let's get said reamer. Ream that hole. The body posts on the X-ray are smaller than that of the Schumacher. If you are doing it, just make sure that you don't go too big on the holes. The Lexan for the thickness of the Lexan on the lightweight shell from Bitty is 0.7 millimeters thick, which is quite thick. It is definitely not as light as the fat body shell, that is for sure. I will give you a weight when it's all done. I made a bit of a boo-boo when I added to cart. I didn't get a super lightweight, the ultra lightweight. This is just the lightweight one, but I'm going to order up a ultra lightweight one today. Get that arriving tomorrow. Let's see how I've done with the holes. The rears are perfect. Only perfect. They're only perfect. Sorry, yeah, they're only perfect. Who's excited to get back racing? Me. If you are one of the competitors and you haven't done your profile, get it over to me, because you're all sponsored and your sponsors would want to see your profile up on the website, onroadlmpraceseries.org. check out the website if you've not seen it. Got all the info on there. It's going to be streamed live by YouTube. So if you're here for the first time, click the like button so you don't miss a trick. There we go. That's that. Stu Barber, it's as easy as that, my friend. He's going to hate me for saying that. Let's just get rid of all that schmutter. Perfecto. So she's on. Lovely. Really good. Wheels line up perfectly. So we can see that pretty much got the lines to hit. I think the wheels have actually moved there. They are actually better than what I've just shown you. There we go. There's the front wheel. There's the other front wheel. Pretty straight on. The back wheels line up pretty well with the arch. Is that mounted? And then in terms of a gap either side, there's a gap there. There's the gap there on the front, that corner, and then that corner. So that's fairly centered. What I am going to do now, we can actually see at this point, so I've just cut this to the line. We can see that I'm going to need to really take off a bit of the front because that is sitting awfully low, or I may have to lift it up on the body posts, which I'm not a massive fan of. And of course the regulations say that you gotta have some form of splitter there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just definitely going to have to lift that up a little bit, because normally what I do on the X-ray is I just let it to sit on the front. I'm going to have to lift these little body posts up one to make that sit appropriately. So I always do it, obviously, the bottom of the shell in relation to the bottom of the shell in relation to the bottom of the chassis, and then you will need a little bit more room to make sure that when the car is rolling over, that the shell doesn't dig in. So I'm just going to lift those up one point. Easier said than done. Jesus. Sorry, give me half hour. I'll be right with you. Oh my goodness me. Hey, done it. Yeah. Amateur hour. So lifted it up one on the front. Put that back on there. Yeah, so that's still lower. The splitter is still lower than the bottom edge of the chassis. Let me get my ride height gauge and I can show you. So if I put my ride height gauge there. Oh, okay. No, that's actually fine. Oh. I was talking out my bottom. So that's that bit done. What I'm going to do now is cut the wheel arches. So I've now trimmed the front down just a little bit. I've just made a couple of tweaks just to get it all fitted perfectly. I've, like most, really taken down the front splitter, but still got a lip there within making it BRCA legal in terms of what the front splitter is doing. And then what I've done is I've found my center of my rear wheel, found the center of my front wheel. If you haven't seen me do this before, check out my previous mounting body shells and body shell reviews and I'll be able to walk you through it. Now I'm going to use my favorite tool ever, and that is the Moody Falls Moody Falls wheel arch cutter. It's just an absolutely majestic tool. If you haven't got one, check out the Moody Falls website. They're pretty hot property, so when they come in stock, make sure you grab one. So I'm just going to make sure I've got the two settings. So I'm going to push it in for my front wheels. Then, and what I've noticed here is that the wheels, when I've cut them here to the second hole, the second line rather, they fit absolutely perfectly in the middle of the arch. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. If you've seen this before, apologies, but I think if you've ever mounted a 12 scale shell and messed the arches up, I think it's really worth showing you guys and girls this bit of kit here. That goes on there. You're going to spin the cutter in the direction it's not quite right there. That's it. Wasn't pushed all the way in. rotate it gently as you go, not pushing too hard too soon. So she said. And then, how good is that? I mean, just the best tool in RC as far as I'm concerned. And you hear people saying, yeah, it's a copy of this and a copy of that. Well, quite frankly, if that wasn't successful and this is, hard luck, because this Moody Falls wheel arch cutter is bloody brilliant. And if you follow the process of cutting the shell out properly, mounting it properly, with hopefully the videos that I've done have given you a better way forwards, we are all happier and enjoying our hobby more because of these great additions. And there, rotates. Don't want to push too hard. Easy to do. Quite push hard enough all the way through, but scored it enough. Perfect again. Lovely stuff. Should have twisted it for a little bit longer, but I didn't. Then we go to the rear wheel. That. Before I do that, obviously you're going to adjust the cutter. Make sure I push it out to the outer diameter. Push that through. Back it on. Rotating. Perfect. Another wheel arch done. I always just make sure that the hole for the post to push through on the cutter is just fraction smaller than it needs to be, and then that way you get a nice solid purchase on the, so I'm just using the cap that's on the top of the cutter as a guide so I don't make the hole too big. Push that through, make sure it sits flush. It's a really sharp blade in this cutter. Perfect. So all the arch is done. Let's take those out of the way, wheel the car in, always the moment of truth, making sure that you haven't ballsed it up and the arches are in the right spot. Let's hope, fingers crossed. So there's the back arch. Shame it's only perfect. There's the front arch. Shame it's only perfect. I know, annoying, aren't I? But it's okay. You can switch off if you don't like me. And then she's done. Brilliant. Loving the way that's looking. So, as if by magic, in rolls a painted shell. So, she is finished. And crikey, what a good looking shell. Very, very different to the shells that we are used to seeing. The profile of it, hopefully you can see it a bit clearer with the paint now. It's a really very impressive looking body shell. I think the overwhelming theme here is how symmetrical everything is. The shape is really clean, and it's going to be really fascinating to see how this performs. The sticker set's quite cool too. It took me 3 or 4 hours to, I joke, to work out where these go. Get some nice cool front lights as well. Nice splitter. It's a really, really good looking body shell. The lightweight body shell weighs in at a hefty 47 grams. So I would strongly advise getting the lightweight, the ultra lightweight shell. On the X-ray, fortunately I had some weight that I could shave off, 10 grams. So that's weighing in at 733 with 10 grams off the X-ray. So that all sits nicely. But listen, great body. I think it's really worth a purchase. It's going to be legal in the On-Road Podcast LMP Race Series. If you like the video, make sure you click like. It does me a huge favour on the channel. Share with your friends, and make sure you subscribe while you're here. And I'll look forward to seeing you all sometime soon.